hari kaundu kamwe gatigarite tugwika tondu twitaga family ya Ngonjo, twaciaritwo ni Ngonjo, no Ngonjo ariu na aumite ku, na tugaga turia bari ya Muya ariu na mataraini atia na Ngonjo na hau na Kenyatta nayo yari miaka iriku ungikorwo Ngonjo aciaritwo mid 1880s koguo Muya nake aciaritwo ri uhoro ucio wothe nitukuheo ni muthuri wi haha witagwo Maina wa Ngobu uyu wina gikubia kinene ta gia cowboy no gutuhe rugano ruu to ni arui ruothe maikarite thi na utire ni mwaka uriku maikarite thi na Ngonjo agikuhe rugano ruu ni tene akiheo karugano kau agikandika mutwe na ni akaririkanaga riu ni aguturirikania. Karibu sana.
Muriaga. Good evening. Balizeno. God is good.
All the time.
All the time.
God is good.
Ni hali moikamba haha.
Tigonie. Tigonie.
Mweane musao. Mundu agaga mavinda onde. Mavinda onde. Mweane musao. Mtwaiguana? Aya. Mwaigua ritwa riakwa. Ritwa ni Maina wa Ngobu. No ndiri wa mbere ya Ngonjo. Ndi wa mbere ya Kihanya. Ndiri wa mbere ya Ngonjo, ndi wa mbere ya Kihanya. No Kihanya na Ngonjo mari brothers. Ndio akiwa ndio hakuhi. Now, who is Ngonjo? Angizwa kuita etaga de mujiro wa mbere ya Muya na de wari kare ya Mwangi ndo aciaritwo ni Maina ugo niguo moyo kwetamburaga hindi iyo na mujiro wa mbere ya Muya ni iguaya urona gukuriria no yothe mathare-ini uringa nginya Kariwa na guturukia tene gutiariritwo mathare-ini kwariritwo gietagwo gitahacio riacoka guka thutha very recently kariritiga ukigea handu hetagwo kwa Wanyang'endo nondu wa muthuri waigite mukawa hau wa Matharara agikaritwo kwa Wanyang'endo agikaritwo Ngakatuya. No, after when people are taken to protective villages during emergency, they came, they decided on the name Matharaini because at the top of the hill where incidentally Mr. Moya, our ancestor, had built his homestead, there was what we call Mathare trees. Mathare. So that's how Matharaini came to be. Huh? Yeah. That's the Idare tree.
Kiriko.
That one. Yeah, Rehana Makongo.
Everyone Makongo.
So that's where, at the top of that hill, that's where Mr. Moya built his homestead after migrating from a place with our area, a place called Githega, Kahote Githega. That is the origin of our people, Ajirwa Balea Moya. That's where they came from. They are still living there. So Moya migrated, left his people there, came and settled here. Now, talking of Bariam, we are here, where we are. Moya's father, there where he came from, Moya's father's name was Monyo. You can no Hemodo Quantica. Actually, family Triano. Oka mwalimu. Monyo was father to Moya. Moya, when he came here, he begat 3 houses, or 3 sons. One was Getuvia. Getuvia, niwe washiarire andu gwitagwo Gatubu, itũra rĩrĩ tũrĩ Gatubu. Naho haha ndĩka Thuo. Ucio no Bernard, because we are going to continue on this one. Just by the way, the other one and the carrot were no the Kagadai. Let me go back a little bit. When Moya migrated from Wedaga area, from Githega to be exact, Githega is in Wedaga. He left some of his people there. And it is so happened, when he came here, people also continued to migrate. We have Bariamo, Angelo and Bariamo, we are somewhere in Mangu, others in a place, an area in Kiambu called Komodai. We have the last bunch, the last bunch of Angelo and Bariamo, the residents of a place called Dedelo. If you know Dedelo near Nairobi.
Our area.
Yeah, that's your area. So maybe you are Mujiro and Bariamo. Dedelo, that is those are our people. I want to talk just a little bit how connected we are and how people used to feel close or mind about their relatives. Way back in 1947, all these people from Dedelo, Komodai, Mangu, and here, with Hashio, they were all oh, good. There was a need for them to travel to Githega, the place of our origin. Why? They went there for what they called Shai. To do what? Just to take their contributions, because one of their sons had already been granted a scholarship to go for further education to America. This was way back in 1947. But I'm telling you, they traveled from that far and they all converged at Githega for that purpose. Who was that young man? I think it will be of interest for us to know. That young man, his name was Julius Gekonyo Okeano. Maybe those of you who are a little bit old, maybe you have heard of him. He went to America in 1947 He came back to Kenya after 10 years in 1957, and he became the first African to acquire the first Kenyan African to acquire a PhD. So that is history. That is an achievement. And you, as a Mujirwa Bariamuya, you can be proud to know that one of your own became the first guy to possess a PhD. Okay. Not only that, when Kiano came back to Kenya, he involved himself in politics. And true to form, when Kenya gained its independence in 1963, Julius Gikonyo Kiano was within the inner circle of Mzee Jomo Kenyatta. What do you call it? They call it kitchen cabinet. And we are also proud as Angelo Ambariamboya to know that in the first independent government of Kenya, Mujiro Ambariamboya was represented in the Jomo Kenyatta's cabinet. Isn't that something to be proud of? Okay, that was just, by the way, just to know Angelo Ambariamboya. And I talked about Dr. Kiano because I know Mzee Ngonjo was amongst those who traveled to Githiga to take money for one of their own to go for further education in America. Incidentally, I'm also proud to tell you that all those people from Dedero, Mangu, and here, the only transport available then was by a lorry owned by my father, Ngobu Kehanya. He was the one who was given that task of transporting all those people to Githiga, and it happened. I think this story goes a long way to tell you whom we are. We value education. When we are talking about education here, we started quite early in minding education for our children. Okay. Now let's come to where we are now. Moya's father was Monyo. I can't talk much about Monyo, but Moya, when he came here after migrating, he begat these two people, and these are three people. So these are three clans represented here in this locality. And where we are right now, this is our father, this is our ancestor, Gitubia. Emanated na this name. Areangi mehaha adu metawo kahiga. Kuigwa nduta gunya duati ashimena hau no andwaito. Aya nao gathae ni na haha. Ugiria turia mautha na turia marthe cheria. Kuigwa gandu ta shege kiageri Maina tene, those are our people. But now let us concentrate on this. Getubia beget Gashero. So Gashero, and then when Gashero was already grown and married, Ethiopia adopted another son, by adoption. He got another son by adoption called Mogoshoku. So, you know, when you adopt a son, he becomes your son. Well, if you don't know where you came from, now I'm going to tell you. Okay. Mogoshoku, you see, he was an adopted son. But he became a very prominent person because after being brought up, he grew, he got circumcised, then he was given the first bride by Ethiopia, but he ended up having like 6 wives. 6 wives, and what you know, Bera, Dugere, Miregu, Ashio, the Mulamu, and Kehatio, so, but this guy, something special about this guy. He was made a chief by a senior chief who used to rule over there, a chief known as Dhuku, Dhukuavu, Beadwale, Uguapalia, Dhukuhalia, Ilewa, Dhuku. He was a senior chief, and he was so prominent, and he built his court at Karioa. We did not have a place called Karioa by then. That place, as late as 1950s, it used to be called Girigasha. Girigasha kwa? Just to be exact, Girigasha kwa Mogoshoku. You see? So Mogoshoku is the one who started Karioa Broad. Karioa Trading Center as we know it. But he just built a hut there where he used to listen to cases. To do what we call arbitration, okay? So I'm talking about him because of the prominence. He was an adopted son. He grew and became wealthy. He married many wives, and his people are all over here, and we know them. So those are our people. But he eventually became a chief, and he started Karioa as we know it. That is where he made his court. How about, who is this guy who made him a chief? Chief Dhuku Wahuba, or Wahube, was so prominent, he used to travel by limousine. Do you know what kind of limousine? Ikombe. Ikombe. You know that traditional Kikuyu storm, Ikombe? Ikombe reade. Rena Megiko, Ede. With one man there, one man there, one man, 4 men. To take him to go and do his arbitration wherever he wanted. He was traveling in a limousine. Orere ungari dia ena pende la wo kwandi si nuwaria na Ikombe. Kombe rere tumetu na de muna. So I'm talking about this because we want to know whom we are. We want to know whom we are and where we have come from. Okay, now we'll leave Mogoshoku there. Let us concentrate on Gasheru now. Gasheru married 3 wives, the ones we know, or the ones whose people we can see. Gasheru had 3 wives. The first wife was Muihaki. Muihaki. Another one, the second wife was Nyakigongo. Mata kulia ndutanga kumale soma. The third wife, the Gashungwa, because yeah, the one he married at his old age. Tagu andika Nyairera. Nyairera. Okay. Now, and you need to know who's Andrea Nyairera Shiaria Dwarico. Nyairera Shiaria, you know, in those days, infant mortality rate was very high. So, if you find a child that has survived, maybe it's due to immunity or God's will. So this one begat one son by the name Gaika. So Gaika begat the living sons, or those who survived. There was Kahuria by one wife, and Mubura by the other wife. Mubura wa Gaika, Kahuria wa Gaika. Gaika ni the wa Kahuria, na Mubura. But two by different mothers. Yagaria kwaria githungu ni undu yamenya kwina andu mekuria nangi I know ni ndiramenya mekua mwe na matibundithagio gikuyu kio ndirageria okay the mutire okay. Okay, so that wabira no nini nigetha turiki, so we have done with that. Aya riu andu aya Akahuria na Mubura ni mumonaga tukoragwo na guku Anjoroge wa Gaika Waire wa Kahuria gogo ni twarikia nacio ino Nyakigongo njuwe mutumia umwe one wife waciarire ni mutumia uyu waciarire anake eri. The ones we found, the ones we know who lived, were Juki na Mororo. Juki and Mororo. Adwashio wa Juki, ni mumoya mahiga wa Juki, akimani wa Juki. Adwa Mororo ni mumoya mahigana mena haha mwangi wa mahiga wa mawe. So acio twarikia nao ndambirira acio nigetha tuke where we belong. Uyu riu ni mutumia wa mbere wa Gaceru Mwihaki okire agiciara Mwihaki as the first wife of Gaceru. He begat mundu etagwo Kanuri. So we know of 3 living sons, those who survived by Mwihaki. So it's a Kanuri or Mwarage, but the other one is Karago. The other one is Kimani. Kimani here was the last born of Mwihaki, and his people, as we know them, Johnny Mangasha, Asharumulenga, Laban, Munio, Kamwega, Kamwega, Tumana Kawu, Kanania Vide. Aya. Na mũthuri ũngĩ wetagwo Kahehu. Ũcio nĩ wa haha kwa Karagu. Kĩmani ti Kĩmani wa Mwĩhaki. There is another Mwĩhaki. Aya. Nĩ mwamamenya acio. So we are doing away with yeah, those two. Now we want Kanuri, we know Mwarage. So those people, Kanuri, Gashero, Kamau, Mwarage, Asio. So we are done with those two. So now we want to concentrate on Karagu. So when you hear those are the people used to be, Gashero people used to be very proud when talking of Gashero na Mwehaki, because Mwehaki was the Ngada, was the first wife and prominent, and she also became very productive. She multiplied greatly the way we know it, because Karagu begat, he married 3 wives. 3 wives, first wife, Wangari. Second wife, Wanjiku. Third wife, Wambui. Yeah, that was the youngest. Let us talk about Wangari. Wangari wa Karawasi area Kimani. Kimani, you might notice here, these two got only a son each. There's only one boy who got 2 sons, Gashero and Ngonjo. Okay, let us do away with Kimani. Kimani begat and Wakimani little boy, and Muduri Tago. Now, this is when Mudurio, the Wakimani wa Mwehaki. The Wakimani wa Nyakahitine Nyomwe. Then Aduri Makawo, Muduri Tao Amari. Gashero, Wakimani, Nageshuru. You know those people? So that is Wangari's house, Kimani's house, okay? So you're done with that. Wanjiku begat Kihanya. Mind you, it isn't that these women were not productive. It's because of what I just mentioned about infant mortality rate. So, in Wangari's house, only Kimani survived. Wanjiku's house, only Kihanya survived. Wamboi's house, Gashero survived, and Ngonjo. Gashero and Ngonjo. Good. I think that's where we are. Gashero ni Mumoy. Do you know this Gashero? Yeah? Who is he? Oh, good. Gashero. Gashero was husband to Wagatune. So that is where, and we know her people. Karagu, incidentally, is only one son who survived. Kigwa Wagatune ahead to Yashi Aleta Kinya, Yashi Aleta Waitadu, agĩkua nĩaciarĩte Ngonjo. Ngonjo na akinya Ngonjo akabatithio rĩtwa etagwo Mũthomi. You know why? Tondũ arĩ mũthomi. Just as you know, he got into the church. He got into Christianity, so he became a Mudhomi. So that's the name that child was known by, Mudhomi. Tondu Ngonjo muthe agikura mwanake etagwo Mudhomi. So we Ngonjo. So having come this far, I'm sure we know ourselves here. But for the benefit of the young ones here, and I know there are some young ones in the diaspora, we need to, to go a little bit further and say, who were Ngonjo's children? Yes, you might to her. All those people, by family. Something to note. Yeah. So, first of all, there was one son by Ngonjo. The firstborn son did not survive. He died in his infancy. But when Walija Karagu, the second, was born, the Moro wa Goshokyo. Karagu, Maria Giredi, Kamai no Kide. Yo. Okay. Hey, that one became very good. Yeah. Okay, but I agree in the one more. Next one is Ezekiel Mungai. Tuwa mwitagari nge herdiman, nyondo ni atu kila munene. Adua Mungai. Yeah, Adua Mungai na Monica. Yeah. The moya ona haria muri. Yeah? Okay. Kuma hau tuthie andu ire tu kumera tu kumare thutha kana wotige. Wa boino e haha. Asha. Yeah, tondu if I may remember, I once visited Deborah here, Shosho, the Musherera Hat, and I made 20 Ngonjo na haha, to get the Kawanga to Nakajiro Kanga Ushedi. He brought me here, right here. And when Deborah knew whom I am, she started giving me a story of how they had collided with her husband, Nathan. To the extent that Nathan had decided to send her back to where she came from, and she didn't. So Ngonjo sent two men. I think it was Juki and somebody else. They came to take, because this was the norm, not the exception. You back home, back where you came from. So that he thought he can do that to Deborah, but he got the surprise of his life. Now there go Horoshio how how. So Deborah narrated to me how that was to happen, but when they came for her, these two men, they could not believe that she could talk to them like that. Like, who? Me? Inyue. The Muraba Quero, like the you know. Makiugero, and they had it to go. Rĩrĩ kwĩra Ngonjo ĩyo nawe ko tũtũmire kũrĩ karĩ ngarĩria na kũwaigire gũkũ. So she did not, but then when she was Karagwa and Mungai, tuhetu tutwiri ndigutiga na ona wewe tuguthie nawe tondu no angirire ku. That was the end. You couldn't do nothing. Haya, so Wambui gatata gat. Wambui. No wikire gaceru. Rugucia gaceru mbere ya Joe. Gaceru. Nĩ Joe. Okay. Nĩwe mũkũrũ tondũ hĩndĩ ĩyo ndĩmũraheire ũhoro wa tũhĩ tũtũ tũrĩendaga gũthiĩ natuo tũhĩ tũtũ ndagwetire kairĩtu. Aya maitũ haha nĩ aratũ correct ũguo ũthondeke hau Nyagacũ. Esa Muthoni no atuĩtwo Nyagacũ Muthoni. Then aya aga Gaceru. Kuma hau nĩ njũĩ nĩ rĩkia haha yu. Kuma haya there I know it is Henry Dhombe. And then Kefa Kehanya. Kehanya na kwenda kwa Julia na mukuru. Yeni, teka Kehanya. No, ikira Julia. Julia Wajiko, Wairimu, then that's okay. Wairimu kana mugerio. Na finally, that's okay. That's it? Kehanya, I'll explain it to you. Mind you, Peter Neoria Kiera. Wado Kehanya and Ngonjo matiari ani no omwe. You see, you have different wives, and incidentally they were not the firstborns. They were named after their mother's father. Kuria mani na mao mabumete. Kehanya atuĩtwo na gũkũ kũrũ gwĩtagwo Thagari. Ngonjo atuĩtwo gũkũ na haha Irera kwa Ambũi mena haha kwa Kariũki wa Nyingĩ. Nĩmũramona hau kwa Ambũi aumĩte. No rĩu hau kwahotekire atĩa matiema merĩ matuane, because it's not possible. Tari ithuĩ gwitũ kwa Ngobu Njathi wa Ngirĩthi ndangĩndua no nĩegũtua Kĩhanya wa matha. Okay, niĩ ndingĩtua Njathi wa Ngirĩthi no ndue Mwangi wa Ngirĩthi, Kĩhanya. But these two nĩkĩ kĩahotekire aya matuane. Ũthomi ũcio ũraigua wa Ngonjo, ũthomi plus wendo, tondu riu ciana no ciaciaragwo ikikuaga no aya ni mahonoka. So when Deborah got her how many sons? Karagu, Mungai, agitua muru wa nyina Gacero, murume wa Gatune, agitua muru wa nyina Thũmbĩ. When she got another son, akiuria Ngonjo riu ni ariku ange mangiaciarirwo tutirakĩmona tũratua ariku. Ngonjo akĩmũrora atia ũratinda ũgĩetherera acio mataciarirwo ake ndũcitue kĩhanya witũ na arĩ o haha. That's how it happened. Simple. Nake kĩhanya rĩrĩa athire agĩciara kĩhĩ gĩa gatano akĩririkanwo atĩ nĩ atuĩte nake Ngonjo. But they were not supposed to name one another because of the traditional way of naming our children did not allow. But Ngonjo broke with the tradition. He made it an exception, not the norm. And that is how it happened. These people were very particular about their relationship. Ndahota kwaria ta harĩ njuge maitũ haha hĩndĩ arakaraga mũno nyina wa Peter nĩ arakaraga nĩ niĩ twacemania nao mena baba Ketha Kĩhanya akaigua ngĩmwĩta brother akarakara ũramwĩta mũrũ wa nduĩti thoguo. Yes, nĩguo. No rĩu let me tell you, kengwĩra rĩu maitũ wĩ haha ũndũ othe makĩiguaga. Rĩtwa rĩu ndetaga baba Ketha brother ti niĩ ndendire tondũ aitire maithori anganĩtie maita maingĩ mũno. Ndamwĩta baba mũthee niĩ ndirĩ mũthee I'm your brother niĩ ndĩ your brother. So makorwo me very proud maciarĩtwo kũndũ rĩu tondũ arĩ mũciare nĩ maitũ wa matha. As far as he was concerned rĩu niĩ ndĩ brother. Rĩu niĩ ndonire aita maithori twĩ handũ na nĩ gacohi twanyuaga akĩrĩra ngĩona ũyũ nĩ ekũngũtha tondũ anganĩtie maita maingĩ. So ingĩagĩkire atĩa we maitũ ithuĩ tũkũbuata ũrĩa arenda.
Kĩhanya nĩ brother yaku.
Ũhoro ũcio umanĩte way back 1954 mami nĩ aheirwo kahĩĩ getagwo Karagũ. Rĩrĩa aheirwo kahĩĩ kau tondũ twaikaraga nake harĩa makĩ-interact na my brother Mwangi nĩho ambĩrĩirie kũmwĩta we nĩwe wĩ mũrũ wa maitũ nĩwe wĩ mũrũ wa maitũ tondũ nĩ araciarirwo nĩ nyi nĩwe wĩ mũrũ wa maitũ. Mũrũ wa maitũ na gĩthũngũ etagwo atĩa brother. Na mũrũ wa nyina na mũndũ wa maitũ noguo no Karagũ ũrathiĩ arete wa maitũ nĩ kuuga atĩa na gĩthũngũ wa matha. Rĩtwa wa matha, that is where it came from. Na rĩkĩrũ na riumanĩte na kĩ ũhoro ũcio wa gũkorwo mũndũ wa hĩndĩ ĩyo we mũciare nĩ mũrũ wa nyina kana nĩ mwarĩ wa nyina kana nĩ mũrũwe. Gũtirĩ ũndũ wakoragwo we mũnene ta ũcio. So maitũ rĩu nĩ wanjohera kũrĩa ndakũhĩtagĩria. Anyway, Headman, ile tũtiarĩkia. Yes. Now, so, my people, who is this guy? Ngonjo. The moderator tried to touch on his research. Ngonjo athire. But I'm telling you, this man was unique. The way he was enlightened early in life. No, this is why he has such a big family. Why? We are told here he got into Christianity. And when you get into Christianity, even now, andũ arĩa mathiaga kanitha nĩ moĩ gwĩthamba. Kanitha nonga mũgĩthiaga mwĩna gĩko. You have to wear your Sunday best so you know how to wash. Nĩma? So even those days, mũririkane hĩndĩ ĩyo andũ gwĩthamba kwega nĩ warĩa nyama wĩhake maguta. Yeah? Gũtherete gũthera. But when Ngonjo got into the church, into Christianity, yeah, and then he got a bride also from the church, and the church used to teach people about cleanliness and hygiene. So, I just told you that infant mortality rate was very high, but Kwadehura, it did not happen because she was a clean woman with enough hygiene, and this is why her children survived. 11 of them marakurire tukimonaga no mishire ngi ni muonaga andu aingi ugu. You better know that, because that is the reason why they were able to bring up 11 children. And 11 children, this is why we have such a big family, something to be proud of. You have to be proud of your grandmother, your grandfather, because they are the ones, through the grace of God, they are the ones who made your parents survive. Right? Hari ũndũ ũngĩ mũkwenda kũigua? Anyway, anga ndarĩkia.